Hello and welcome back to the Good Talkers podcast. It is so great to have you all here today. As always, my name is Tessa Livingston and I am joined by the excellently, fabulously wonderful Deanna Cooney.
Oh, hello.
Hello. And the delightfully excellent, brilliantly wonderful Ashton Haugen.
Well, thank you. You're making me blush a little bit.
And our favourite person of all time, Jordan!
That's a big call. That is a big call.
So Jordan.
Yeah.
Take that.
Yeah, you take it and you run with it. Pop it in your
Hey,
back
guys.
pocket. Use it for some kind of currency, I think. I don't know what that meant.
Oh, I'll be going with it. I
You're
liked
gonna
it.
go, that's great.
I liked it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, it's so wonderful to have you all here today. And normally we talk about something a bit bizarre at the beginning, but I don't know that any of us have really thought about anything that's going. Has anyone got an interesting story?
Um,
Everyone looks a little blank. This is good.
oh, I have an interesting story.
Ashton's
Thank
got an
goodness,
interesting
Ashton
story.
to the rescue.
I live in a condominium complex, and our HOA, our homeowners association, has decided that they want to work on everyone's roofs.
Oh, no.
Yeah, during the day. They have not gotten to mine yet, but it's like when it happens, it'll be a surprise. I can see them doing everybody else's, like in everybody, like all the other buildings that have the condominiums in them, because we live in like this complex. And oh man, the day they were walking around up there like a couple weeks ago, like assessing, and I was like, oh crap, it's happening. It's really happening. So that's my, it's not that interesting of a story, but it's like,
How's the,
as a voiceover actor, you're like, you hear that and you're like, oh crap.
Shit. Things about to get noisy, right? So
It's about to
are
get
you
noisy.
hearing them do work on other people's like roofs or?
A little. It hasn't been that bad. Not as bad as I thought it would be. There's been like a couple of times with like trucks backing up because they're carrying these like big heavy tiles because we have tiled roofs. And or like when they're throwing like other like garbage like off the roof into like these big trucks.
Oh no.
Man, it's like going bam, ba bam, ba bam, but it's not like for all day. It's just for a little bit. And so I can like pause. I'm like, okay, I guess it's time to take a break now. Like I guess I'll continue work after this. It's but I'm just dreading the day that they come to work on mine because I'm just praying that my roof isn't like as bad as everybody else's, and then let it just be like swift, like a day or two, and just like done, But of course, probably my
fingers
roof will
crossed
probably be
for
the
you.
worst, and they'll be up there for 3 weeks, and I'll be screwed. But who knows? We'll see what will happen.
No. That's so stressful when they start doing things outside your house because it's not like you can be out there and be like, can you not? Like that's just they have to be there.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to be there. They're doing the thing that they were supposed to be doing. It's not their fault.
No.
So
Yeah,
but,
it's not their fault that their job is noisy. That's just kind of it, right?
and they're doing a great job. Like the roofs look great and everything. It's just like for me, I'm just like, oh man, could you guys like be silent roofers, please? Walk around up there
Silently,
with
like toss things off roofs. Just
and
do that so that it doesn't make any noise.
here, hand them all like slippers. Like, you guys want to wear these? Walk softly. I also live on the 3rd floor, so like I'm on the top of the complex. So like they're really like right on top of my roof. There is no avoiding them. Yeah. But,
Oh
you know,
no.
it is what it is. It'll be what it bees.
And it'll be over at some point as
It'll
well.
be over at some point. It won't be a life ruining, career ruining situation. Worst comes to worst, I got some good studios out here I can reach out to and figure it out,
That was what I was going to ask. If it gets really like badly noisy on a really urgent day, there's always the option of like popping into a studio somewhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just got to make a couple of phone calls and I can make it happen. So, anyways.
Awesome.
I imagine
not
this is a
very
common
interesting.
issue, right? This would be a common issue with a lot of people who are listening. For me
Yes.
too. Like on my end, I'm like, really? You want to mow the lawns now? Okay, cool. I need to get like a fully insulated sound space so that doesn't happen. But yeah, I imagine there's a lot of VOs who maybe there's construction on their street or whatever, and it goes on and on for months and months. It must be a
I
big
can
problem,
imagine.
like a major problem if you're working from home.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's a really, really, really big deal. Things like dogs barking even is a problem. And most people don't have completely sound insulated spaces. We treat our space so that we get decent audio quality, but the vast majority of people aren't able to block ambient sound, right? You can buy a booth, but you're talking about an investment of anywhere between 3 and 10 grand to buy a booth, to buy a proper booth. And then you've also got to have somewhere to put the booth. Yeah, a soundproof booth, right? And then you've got to have somewhere to put it, right? So where is that going to fit in your house? That's another thing that you have to think about. So most people, I think probably, I wouldn't hazard to put a percentage on it, but I reckon it's pretty high, right? Most freelance VOs are working from a bedroom or a wardrobe or a small room in the house or, with a blanket fort set up of some description, varying degrees of sophistication, of course. There's some very sophisticated blanket forts out there, really, really high-end
really
blanket
good
forts.
ones, yeah.
Really amazing because you can get beautiful quality sound out of, you don't have to do much to create good quality sound, but to block ambient sound, that's hard work.
Yeah.
Everyone hears my chickens all the time, right? I teach from the same space that I record in. And I live in a 100-year-old timber house. There's holes in the floorboards. If something's underneath me, you can hear it moving around, So if the rooster decides that in the middle of the day he wants to let everyone know what he's doing from directly underneath where I record, that's a problem.
He's just having a good time under there. He's just, doing his rooster thing.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. Speaking of rooster things, it's not a segue in the slightest. It doesn't fit in the slightest, but I'm just going to use it to be like, speaking of rooster things. Today, everybody... That was so shit. I'm so sorry. My brain is just melting with me at present. And I've even gone all red. If you're watching the recording, I've gone all red. Which my students, when I used to be a drama teacher, used to love to fucking point out, didn't they? Miss, you've gone all red. Fuck off. Shut up. It's because I'm mad.
It's not you made me angry.
I can feel it getting worse. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. This is so awesome. So I'm just going to keep talking and eventually it's going to stop. Maybe.
You've gone past the point of segue anyway. So now, everyone's already forgotten that you were trying to segue and you can just move into the next bit. It's awesome.
Yeah, they had forgotten. Cheers, Deanna. So today, everybody, Rooster Chat. No, we are talking the good talk about social media and using it as a tool for businesses as well as our livelihood. Because social media can be a bit of a drag or it can be an absolute goldmine, and it can switch between those two things on the same day. I have found personally. It can go from being really awesome to fucking horrible in about 10 seconds. So, how many of us are using social media for our business platform? I was going to say show of hands,
yeah.
but this is a podcast.
Show of voice.
I personally do. I know, Deanna, you do. Jordan, I've seen you post stuff. Ashton, you post stuff too, hey?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're all using it. I think my first question, though, because I just think this is so interesting, is how do we feel about it personally? Not, if it's not for your business component, how do you feel about it personally?
I have a love-hate relationship.
For personal stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like for everyday life, basically scrolling, that sort of thing. How do you feel about it?
Oh, right. I think it's a time suck, right? It's a complete and utter time sink. So I have to be really, really careful and intentionally give myself time to just scroll mindlessly if that's what I want to do, right? But because I use social media for business and my whole coaching business, I mean, I've got an email list as well and I'm working on building the email list, but social media is where the most of my promotional and marketing efforts go to, you know? So I use it for work all of the time. And it's been actually a real challenge over the last kind of 4 years to find a balance. I used to use social media for personal stuff and it was lovely, right? I shared photos of my kids and I did all sorts of different things. And 3.5 years ago nearly 4 years ago, when I decided I was going to have a coaching business, right? I switched to using social media as a advertising platform and a marketing platform and a relationship building platform with clients and and a space where I could build authority as a leader in the environment, right? And I completely stopped using it for personal stuff because I switched my head around it. I went, oh, this is a business tool. And I just stopped doing personal stuff. And just recently, I've started bringing that personal stuff back in and trying to find a balance between, you know, posting around business, posting around personal. And it's really interesting because bringing that personal element back in has shifted the way people are relating to me in my business. It's actually really good. The relationships have changed.
So I have a question, Deanna, about that
Yeah.
because I'm a millennial, and we started using social media not for business stuff first. It was all personal stuff, right? Like I go back to the days of I remember setting up my MySpace. I don't know if you guys had that. Yeah. So that was not going to be personal. So when I decided I wanted to use it for business stuff, I started a business only one. And so I kind of have a personal one and a business only one. But now I'm seeing the two of them kind of bleed together a little bit. So my question is, how did you navigate? So when you started using it for business stuff, is it the same profile and everything you had before? Oh, okay. That's what I was asking.
No. Different
Yeah.
profile. I set up a profile for my business and
Yes.
started
Okay.
building authority and awareness and know, like, trust kind of stuff into that space, right? And that's when the personal thing, I just stopped engaging with it because I didn't have the bandwidth to be putting time and energy into the business space and sharing in the personal space as well, right? My Facebook, and this is on Instagram, right? So my Instagram profile, my personal Instagram profile, I just stopped engaging with it, right? that
Sometimes
just
you don't have
stopped.
time.
I just didn't have
Yeah.
capacity, did not have the bandwidth, right? And so the business thing has been my focus for the last couple of years, last few years. And like I said, now I'm starting to bring personal stuff back in, but not on that personal profile. I'm bringing the personal stuff into the business profile so that I'm basically broadening what people can know about me and how much of me they can get to know through the business space. So it's not quite all business anymore. There's some personal stuff in there too.
But I have heard from classes and things I've taken with certain casting directors that is a great thing. That's the kind of thing that people that they look for because it makes you human.
Yeah.
And it makes them get to know you. And especially in this day and age when a lot of casting directors are looking for to cast
Real
casting
people
through on authenticity.
Yeah.
They want people who identify in certain groups and have certain personality traits and are from certain places to fill those roles and be in those spaces. So they're looking for that. You're not just a robot. This is not all you do. You have other things going on in your life. You have other things that you do, and they want to know who you are. And so that's I heard that's a really great thing. Even putting certain identifiable features of yourself in your bio is really helpful to certain casting directors if they're looking for a specific type of person, and they kind of want to know that you're going to be cool to work with, if you're going to be fun to hang out with. You know what I mean? They want to know if you're a creative person, if you're a kind person, or are you going to be a complete weirdo? Because not that you can always tell that on social media, but you can get a hint about it.
Well, also you can curate your stuff so that you are letting people see certain elements of you, right? You don't have to be okay, here's me completely bare. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to share every single bit of you. And the way that I run my coaching profile, my coaching kind of business space, is a bit different to the way I think you'd run a voiceover kind of business
Absolutely.
space, so that's something to take into consideration. But I definitely think branding these days, personal branding is a really big deal. And that's what you're talking about there. What you're talking about is, here's some professional elements of me, and here are the personal elements of me that support the professional elements of me, and this is how I want people to relate to me, and that's what you're doing with a personal brand.
But you even do that for your coaching. They want to know you're buying into you as a coach. They want to know who you are. Yeah. So it applies all the way around.
Absolutely, it applies all the way around. Yeah.
It's also so good to post on your personal page as well about your work stuff, because what I have learned as of recent is that if people you know don't know what you do, they're not going to pass on your information to anybody, and they're the people
Totally.
who are more likely to do it because they know you. And word of mouth is what, like, the best form of advertisement you could possibly get your hands on.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so yeah, I was talking to someone about that the other day, and they said they don't even do a business page anymore. And like, if their friends and family get annoyed with seeing their stuff all the time, they just unfollow them.
Yeah.
And that's it. And because, you know, and so it was kind of like, it was more valuable because the chances of you connecting to somebody for business via people you know is so much higher than posting something and hoping like hell somebody sees it that's,
Yes.
you know, that's someone that you want to work with. It was really interesting to look at it that way.
That's something that I have started doing much more very recently, very specifically. Like, and by specifically I mean consciously, strategically. You know, like I have kept in the Facebook space, I have kept my business very separate from my Facebook space, because for me, my personal profile on Facebook was a personal profile, and really it was like, in my head, what I was saying up front, what I was saying to myself was like, oh no, like I want to keep my personal life personal and da da da, and that's the right thing to do. But actually, I was worried about pissing people off, right? I was anxious about what would happen if I put my business front and center in front of people that have known me for like a very, very long time, right? And like, how will they react? What will they think? Will people go, oh, she's a bit big for her boots, and look at her sharing all of this stuff, and like, look at Deanna talking about her business. You know, it's very Australian tall poppy.
Tall poppy.
I was just going
to throw that in.
Very Australian tall poppy stuff, right? And so I like it's really recent. I'm talking like weeks, like just in the last few weeks, I've started sharing work-related stuff, and I've been sharing offers for programs that I'm running, and like putting that in that space. And I am flabbergasted by the response, right? There's actually people like engaging with this content in ways that I think is really beautiful, and it's opening up conversations in my on that personal page, in what I would call my personal space, that is so much more interesting, you know? And I just think it's really, really beneficial. So I think it's really important that we like kind of check in with our insecurities around that kind of stuff, and make sure that that's not interfering with what could be a really good result for us and for other people, right? Like, if you don't tell people what you do, they also can't use you when they need you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally valid, but completely bizarre to me, the whole tall poppy thing, because I mean, just Los Angeles in general is like the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
Like, you could be walking down the street and there is some girl in a thong bikini stopping traffic so she can film a TikTok dance. And like, that is a
Wow.
normal thing that happens here.
That
I
stresses
see
me
it
out.
all the time. But it's like, yeah, we call them influencers in the wild. Oh, did you see that influencer over there in the wild? Yeah, there's an influencer in the wild over there. Yeah, so that stuff happens all the time. So it's so bizarre to me to think like, we're always, I don't know, maybe we need to like check our egos or something, but we're always trying to show off, and we're always trying to like, hey, this is me. I'm amazing. Look over here.
I think we need more of that in Australia, to be honest. Like,
We need
everyone
more
in
of that
Australia
here
is like,
too.
shut up, don't toot your horn. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Do you know, like, when I go to post something on socials, it's so like, I measure what I have posted recently to see how skitey it sounds in comparison to other things I've posted, and I will scale them up or down depending on what, for that exact reason, for that tall poppy thing. Like, just being like, and that's like, I'm going through the same thing as you, Deanna.
So I noticed a tendency to do that. I noticed a tendency to like, oh, I did a post talking about business related stuff last time. I better just talk about my cat or something, right? I noticed
throw in
that
a random thing in
tendency,
there.
right? Yeah. Let's just throw in something really benign that'll give people a bit of space, right? But like, it doesn't make any difference, because here's the thing: it's not like everyone sees everything you post anyway.
No.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't happen. So I think it's really important to step past that. And I've been stepping past that, and it's been really cool. Like, sometimes people come in and give me a bit of shit about things, and I just give them a bit of shit back, and happy days, on we go, right? But for the most part, the responses have been very positive. And what I've seen is a lot of people being a lot more vulnerable in return. Right? Because what I'm displaying in the Australian culture is a high degree of vulnerability by placing myself in that, like, hello, look at me, look at what I'm doing. This is amazing. I think you should know about it, and you should come and do this too if it's something that you like doing, right? That creates a really high degree of vulnerability, because everybody else in Australia looks at that and goes, oh, wow, you're like really stepping out here. Like, that's a big thing to do, you know? And what I'm getting in return is vulnerable sharing back. People see that as an opportunity. It's like it opens a door for other people to step into that space. And I wasn't expecting that, and I really like it, right? I really like that I have an opportunity here to encourage other people to step into their own bloody greatness, right? And like toot their own horn and let everybody know like who they are and what's amazing about them. I think that's really cool.
That is really cool. I think that's so fantastic, because like social media can be such a fantastic place if you use it in the right way. But I think there's a lot of stuff that can go a little bit haywire on it. I asked a question in a runners group the other day, because I've started running again. I'm freaking loving it. It's great. But I asked a question about nasal breathing, and just got absolutely attacked for it. It was crazy.
Wow.
Because the way that I'd formed the sentence apparently sounded offensive to somebody, because I said that nasal breathing was more efficient than mouth breathing. I should have said for me, but I didn't say for me.
Oh my God, but really, come on.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. So I've got such a mixed feeling about social media. One, because I hate scrolling. And this is where I feel really conflicted in it, is that I don't like doing it, but I expect other people to scroll through my stuff. So it's real. So I'll be like on TikTok, because like I'll search for like sounds I can't make, or I'll just be like having like a 10-minute whatever, and I'll be like 3 minutes into it, and I'm like, I hate this, but I hope everybody's watching my videos. This real weird backwards thing going on about it. How do we feel about that component? You know, like not wanting to engage in social media because we know it's a time waster for our brain, but also wanting everybody to watch our stuff. Now you two have both got your hands up, so I'm gonna let you fight for it.
You want to go first, Ashton?
Sure. I just say, like, I have the opposite problem. I feel like maybe it's the ADHD in my brain, but I feel like I can get lost in just scrolling and scrolling. So I actually have to actively put like timers on my phone saying like, okay, you've had enough for today. Because I'll just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. It's like it feeds my brain the dopamine that like it's craving.
Yeah, totally.
And so I have the exact opposite issue. But then I see, oh my God, an hour has gone by. How is an hour gone by? You know what I mean? So, that's the part that I hate about it. But what's also interesting to me, Tessa, is that you said you hate being on social media and you hate scrolling. But that is how you originally contacted me.
Yeah, I
You
know.
contacted me through Instagram.
And I found Deanna on Facebook.
Yeah, so like you went to, like, you could have just sent me an email through my website, but you chose to go the Instagram route. Is there like a reason you did that?
I wouldn't have found you through your website, because I wouldn't have thought to Google anything, so I wouldn't have found you. And that's probably what that is. Yeah, like I think what I don't like about social media, I don't mind scrolling from time to time, but what I don't like about it is the sense of feeling plugged into it via searching for dopamine hits. Like and I notice it when I'm like if I've posted something and I think it's really good, the need to pick it up and check it every 30 seconds is so intense. And I think what I don't like about it is feeling like I depend on it or I feel plugged into it, and that's what I find tricky. I love that I found you lot all on social media. That's fantastic, but you know, I could do without it.
I think intentionality is key, right? For me, it's really, really, really important. I need to set an intention before I step into the space.
Yeah.
Right? So
posting or for personal use?
Both.
Both? Yeah.
Yeah, both, right?
It's
so
a tool.
if I'm just gonna if I'm just like, I just feel like having a bit of a scroll, seeing what's happening in the space, right? I'll give myself a time limit. You know, like I'll go, all right, what's time? Okay, cool, I'm gonna spend 10 minutes just going through here, right? And just having a look, just touching base. What I discovered the other day, this is so interesting, right? What I discovered the other day is that I have a tendency to post and then run, right? Like I post and then I put my phone down and I run away, right? Or I walk away and I go do something else for like half an hour. And because the urge to check and see what people are people liking it, right, is really strong. So I shut the door and I walk away. But here's the thing. To get good engagement so that the algorithm like does what you want it to do, you can't just post. You have to engage, right? So what I realized was actually I'm doing what Tessa, you described. I'm posting and I'm expecting people to engage with my stuff, and I'm not doing any engagement in that intentional way, right? Like in my I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to scroll. I'll like a few things here and there, but there's no intentionality from a business perspective around that, right? So what I've decided I'm going to start doing is I'm going to post and I'm going to then spend 10 to 15 minutes after I've posted engaging with other stuff, not checking my post and looking what's happened and seeing how people are responding to it, right? And if people do engage in that first sort of 10, 15 minutes, great, I'll engage with them in that. And that's really good for the algorithm, right? That quick engagement. But the idea is it's reciprocal, right? I want to start bringing reciprocal energy to my social media space. So I'm going to go in there, I'm going to make a post, I'm going to make an offer, right? That is me offering something in the space, and then I'm going to go in and engage with other people's offerings, and that reciprocal energy is going to start to build in the space, and I think it's going to be really, really beneficial.
Isn't it interesting how like we are sitting here and we're like, oh, well, the algorithm wants this, so I better do this, and the algorithm wants that. And like, to me, I feel like, well, I don't want to be a slave to the stupid algorithm. I just want to live my life and do what I want to do. But like, if I'm trying to run a business and I'm trying to get my name out there, at a certain point, I have to be like, okay, algorithm, what would you like me to do? You know what I mean? And I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. I also don't
Why do
really
you
like
hate
being
it, though?
told what to. I don't like being told what to do. I have a problem with that.
I agree with that. And I'm going to jump on the same bandwagon and say I don't like how cleverly it encourages us to constantly be on it by doing your own stuff and then engaging with other people's stuff to make sure that your stuff gets engaged with. And it just feels like this loop of continually be here to make sure that your shit gets seen. Like it feels like a trick to me. And I think that's why I feel like that too.
So that's just your perspective.
Totally.
Right.
Absolutely.
So my question for you, like this is a two-parter, right? Can you bring intentionality to that so that actually it feels like you're the one making the choices around it, right? Like, and that's what's happening for me. I'm like, okay, this is how I'm choosing to engage with this process, right? And it's no different to how you choose to engage with anything else in your life, right? Like the supermarket sells things for a certain price. You choose whether you go and buy things from that supermarket or you go to another place that sells them for a different price, right? And they're algorithms, basically, right? They're just IRL algorithms, right?
It's true. Like where they place the stuff in the store is
Fucking
like all
oath,
intentional.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You walk to the checkout, you're getting prompted to buy the sugary stuff, right? Because you're waiting in the checkout and it's all sitting there, right? These are just versions of algorithms, but you get to choose how you engage with those algorithms. So can you bring intentionality to the way that you engage? And two, can you change your thought process so that you feel positively about the algorithm versus negatively? Because that whole, I don't like being told what to do, that's just a thought process. It's just a pattern.
It's just me being a brat, basically. It's me being stubborn.
No, it's
and
It's valid. No, actually, really, nobody really well, that's not true. Lots of people don't like being told what to do. So don't be told. Choose.
That's true. Okay, yeah. Change my mindset and be like, okay, algorithm, I'm going to choose to work with you.
Yeah,
And
this
if
is a
those are the
collaboration.
rules- right. It's a collaboration. You're right. That's totally a much healthier thing than me being like, we want to like stick up the finger to the algorithm.
Especially when you're running a business, right? Like when you're running a business, you use the tools that are available to you. You collaborate with the tools that are available. You find out how to best engage with those tools. You give them what they need. You take what you need. It's reciprocal, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by reciprocal kind of stuff. You don't get to tap into reciprocal energy if you're like resentful of the other side of the equation.
That is true. And I do have like a little bit of resentment toward the algorithm because, it's, and I think you know what, Deanna, you're totally spot on because I feel like my my social media on my business side is probably not as strong as it could be because of my resentment toward all the things the algorithm commands I must do. So, that's a good little tweak. Not an easy tweak, but it's definitely something I could do to change things.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I have the opposite thing with that because I'll put something on social media and I'm like, man, that's cool. That's going to go viral. That's so awesome. Then it gets like 100 views and you're like, what the fuck?
What's wrong with you people?
My shit's awesome. Why aren't you watching it?
It's true. Her shit is awesome. Everybody go watch it. No,
It
not
is.
just
It's
because
incredible.
It's so
right?
good. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, whether it's incredible or not doesn't matter, actually.
Not to the algorithm.
No, it doesn't matter to the algorithm. So do we know what some of those points are that do matter? Because something that I have been looking into recently is the value that you are giving people as opposed to the selling that you want from people, which is what makes what makes your videos or your content so much stronger. Did that make sense what I just said or not really? Yeah.
I don't know what
me,
you
it
mean
did.
by the selling that you want. What do you mean by that?
So when you post a video, if your intention is to sell something, in the climate we live in, the likelihood that it succeeds is minimal because people want value rather than being sold to. And that's just something that I've observed of recent and a couple of people that I follow and listen to. But Deanna, what are your thoughts?
I sort of disagree with that in some ways, right? Because I think these days people expect to be sold to, right? And here's what I've noticed, right? The selling posts that I do where I'm blatantly going, hey, by the way, here's a thing, right? Like, buy this thing off me. It's awesome. I think it's great. Here's why it'll help you, da-da-da-da-da, right? Those posts get fuck all engagement, right? But that doesn't mean people aren't seeing them. They just don't get the engagement, right?
Yeah.
The stuff where I'm just talking about personal things or I'm teaching a thing or I'm showing something or I'm just, creating value and some of those get lots and lots of engagement, but the stuff that really gets engagement is the stuff where I ask people for engagement.
Yeah.
Right? So if I request, comment or like or tell me what you think or blah, 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 right? I get higher degrees of engagement really, really regularly. Again, that doesn't translate to the sales things. And I think that's a really common occurrence, right? When you're doing a sales pitch to people, they just accept the sales pitch, but they don't necessarily engage with it because why would they, right? What they might do is then go buy your thing, right? And that happens to me a lot. People buy my things, and if I looked at the engagement level on the sales post, I would think that nobody was looking or paying attention or anything like that, but it's not true. It's just not true, right? I have people message me and go, oh, I've been looking at all of your posts about blah, 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 and like they're really hitting me hard and I really want to do the thing, blah, blah, blah. How do I do the thing, right? No likes, no comments, no visible engagement, but it doesn't mean it's not landing.
Yeah,
And
totally.
that's the whole point anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Not for the hearts, not for the likes, but to engage with actual other human beings who you could both benefit from whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what your goals over social media are. Like, what's the point of you being there? Like, what are you looking to achieve while you're there? Are you looking to get high engagement so that you can say that you have high engagement and you can promote that somewhere else? Or are you looking to build a small community? Deanna, you and I talk about all the time, this is a phrase I've gotten from you, creating authority inside your space. Like,
Yes.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that you get engagement. It just means that you exist inside that space and you're
People
building.
trust you.
People trust you. So, does everybody have like a goal they're trying to work on social media at the moment?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I want reach.
Mm-hmm.
I want engagement in certain ways, right? Because a high level of engagement is actually more valuable than a high number of followers.
Right. Yeah. Understood.
Right?
Absolutely.
Small number of follows, high degree of engagement, much, much, much more valuable.
Yeah.
And
a
that's
small
an algorithmic
community that
thing
loves
as well.
you is more
Yes.
important than a massive
Yeah.
community that just looks at
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, basically. If what you're trying to do is sell things, make money, provide services and offer value to people, right? If what you're looking for is a business, then what you want is loyalty. Right? And loyalty is hard to create in a massive, massive, massive audience quickly, right?
Yes.
Like if you build to a massive audience and you build loyalty the whole way, that's different to I've got a massive audience and I built it really, really, really quickly and like nobody engages with my stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So it depends, like you said, it depends on what you're after. Me personally, I'm after loyalty. I'm after trust building. I want people to buy my stuff, but I want the right people in the space. It's much more important to me that I have an audience of really good fit people who are my people, right? They're my people that I would love to work with and who really want to work with me. And that's my goal from a business perspective, but it's also become my goal from a personal perspective as well, right? Like I want people in my social media spaces that love me, right? That I love and who I can have a relationship with and who know me, right? Not all of me, right? Because there's bits of me that I keep personal, right? But I want them to know who I am and what I stand for and what I'm like to work with and be around. So for me, that level of authenticity is becoming more and more and more and more important all the time.
That's exactly what
that.
I was going to say. Is my main goal is networking authentically with authenticity. I just want to show, I have much different goals than you. Like I'm not running a program. I'm not trying to build a community of my own per se. That's like a personal community, but I do want to network with like-minded people who are kind and generous and fun to work with and collaborate with and, all of those things and build authentic relationships. But it's kind of difficult to do over social media, but it can be done. And I feel like this podcast is evidence of that. Yeah. So I think that is also my goal too. I was going to say building authenticity, putting my authentic self out there. Like you said, not everything. Which is hard to do, like in Los Angeles. I know people who like literally Instagram everything. I'm like, okay, no, like get off your phone. Like let's talk face to face, like let's just put it down so I can see your eyeballs. You're
there in person with them and they're filming the conversation.
Yes. So
everything is content. Everything is
but
content.
at some point, like this is just dinner. Like it's not content.
Yeah.
I need it to not be content. But yeah, so like authentically showing off parts of myself, building a network of like-minded, creative, fun people, and it takes time, and I feel like I need to be patient with it, but also I guess my new goal after listening to you, Deanna, is to be more intentional with my use of social media. Put an intention out there, being like, okay, well, if your intention is to get those dopamine hits for 10, 15 minutes, get it. If
and
your
enjoy
intention,
it.
And enjoy it. And if your intention is to build your business, let's do it this way because this is the way it's going to work. Otherwise, you're kind of just wasting your time. So, yeah, I like that. That's going to be, both of those things are my goal. What about you, Tess? Throwing it over to you.
Yes, those things. I think also a part of it for me is showing up, like to do things that are important to me. So, there's that someone that I that I follow, even though I've said I don't like it, but I do. I'm such a contradictory piece of stuff sometimes.
Everybody
anyway.
is. No.
Yeah.
Everyone is a massive
yeah.
contradictions. Every human is a massive contradiction.
Absolutely. So this person that I have been following as of recent was saying, like, social media when you're starting out is actually just for you. Like if you don't have a specific goal of being like, I want to sell this many courses in this month and I want to blah 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 blah, they're like, show up, film yourself doing whatever it is that you're doing and see what you love doing and see how you change over time. Like use it as an experiment to find the things that, which is really cool. Which is why I've started a couple of new series on my own TikTok channel, because it's like, well, actually I'm really interested in this stuff. And if I start doing more of these things, I'm going to see how it feels for me. And maybe in a month's time, I'm going to go, I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
Or actually, I really, really like it and I'm going to dig further into this space. So they say talking about it like a personal exploratory activity.
Yeah, totally.
Which I think is really cool. So yes, showing up in the community and becoming an authority and all of that sort of stuff, but also showing up for yourself and going, it's also a commitment. Like you're saying, yes, I believe in myself enough to put this stuff online, because that can be really hard as well. Jordan, thoughts? Goals?
I've enjoyed this a lot. That's my thoughts.
Good.
It's really interesting from my side. It's a little, like, I feel it's slightly different. What I would say is my goal is to be consistent.
Yeah.
Because my biggest problem was that I wasn't consistent, and the people who I'm trying to do business with didn't even know I existed because they're on social all the time, and they don't even. If you're not front and center, you're out of sight and you're out of mind. So from a standpoint of growing my own business, I've just tried to put content out every Monday at 12 o'clock. That's my thing, every single week.
Awesome.
Again, you want to talk about algorithms. They like it when you release regularly, consistently at the similar times. You know, it's good for podcasting and every other thing you can imagine is being consistent. So for me, it's about being consistent and using the content to make people laugh and drive people to my website. That's kind of my goals at the moment.
Nice.
So
Nice.
if you all talking to the VO kind of community who are listening, if you all had just one tip in terms of social media and growing their business from a business sense, like what would be your one thing for each of you for VOs specifically?
Whew, that's a good one. Deanna, you've got your hand up. You go first.
Yeah, be yourself.
Yeah.
Be you, right? Don't be who you think people want you to be so that they hire you, right? Be you. There's enough work out there that you being you will be the thing that attracts the people that you want to work with, right? And the more clear you are about who you are, the more people will trust you when they get to be in person with you, right? Because if you're presenting a certain way on the internet, right? If you're doing like just a highlights reel, or you're like going, oh, I'm going to make people think I'm this particular way, and it's not complete, like it's not really who you are, you won't be able to hide who you are when you're like in person with people. And if you do, it'll get in the way of building relationships and doing a good job while you're there, because you'll be too busy trying to maintain the like curated version of yourself. So just be yourself.
Yeah. I'm going to go more on the technical side for it.
Cool.
Make your things good quality.
Yeah.
Because if it's not good quality, not saying that you have to go out and buy a big old camera and get your mics and blah, blah, all that sort of stuff. They just have to be good so that when people come across them, they don't flick straight past them because they're a bit shit. Put in that little bit of extra time to figure out, okay, how do I make sure, because this happened to me, how do I make sure that my videos are in mono, not in stereo? Like those sort of bits and pieces that just give your piece of content that little bit of elevation, which means that people are more likely to stick. So it takes time. The first video I ever posted took me 7 hours to post. It was horrific. But just stick with it. Make it quality.
I guess my advice is more of rather than a creator of content, as a user of content. When you use social media, if an opportunity comes across, if the algorithm presents you with an opportunity that speaks to you, jump on it. Because you never know where that opportunity is going to lead. If you see something when you're scrolling and you see something that catches your eye, or you see something you're interested in, jump on that opportunity and strike while the iron is hot. Because when you see it, because opportunities, they're not, they're golden. They're important, and they don't, they can be life-changing, and they can be journey-changing, and you never know what's going to happen if you just keep scrolling past. If you just keep scrolling and you never take the opportunity to be like, wow, I really liked that. I really liked what that Deanna had to say. I'm going to check out her course. Or I really liked what that Tessa person had to say. I'm going to check out, whatever it is that you're seeing. If you're using social media and you're scrolling, I feel like I have gotten have created a lot of opportunity for myself by engaging in others' content, getting my name out there. And I feel like that also speaks to a level of authenticity of who I am. Like, you have to also remember that the engagement, you're not trying to follow specific casting directors and liking everything that they post because you want them to notice you. And you know what I mean? It has to be genuine, but don't discount the opportunities that might come across your way through your feed, because I feel like that's a gift the algorithm is giving to you. And you
see, there you go. That's a nice way to think
changing.
about the algorithm. It's giving you gifts.
It's giving you a gift. So, jump on that opportunity. You never know where it could lead. You never know. It could lead nowhere, but it could lead somewhere fabulous. And you wouldn't know that unless you reached out.
I'm glad I asked that question. Yeah, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
Alternate and excellent answers from all three of you. Good job. While I'm here, do you want to do sounds?
Yeah.
Sounds we can't make?
Yes.
Before I disappear,
Yes.
I'm still here. I'm here. I'm just I'm not always talking, but I'm here. Okay, cool. All right, we'll roll into this week is from Elmo, the Cookie Monster. So I'm gonna play the whole clip, and then I'll just leave it running, and it'll be the clip that we're gonna try and attempt to say.
All right.
2 in a row. Okay, so you get the whole clip, and then you get the sentence we're trying to say 2 in a row, and then we'll all have a crack at it. Sound good?
I like the structure today, Jordan. This is great.
All right.
Because if he doesn't impose structure, we just go all over the freaking place.
Okay, you guys ready to go?
Right, yeah, got it.
Yeah. You know, bestie, me think you need to treat yourself today. Yeah, maybe take a nice walk. Maybe do some stretches. Maybe have lots of water. And maybe have a cookie or two. Yeah, 'cause you worth it.
Okay, wait for it.
Maybe have a cookie or two. Yeah, 'cause you worth it. And maybe have a cookie or two. Yeah, 'cause you worth it.
Okay, so that's the sentence. Maybe have a cookie or two, because you're worth it.
I need to I don't know that I've got the warm up. Oh,
Yeah,
that's kind of it. And that doesn't hurt. When I talk like that, you have a cookie or two. Cookie or two. Because there's like that cookie or two. You have a cookie or two, because you're worth it. I can't
That's
get the
pretty
accent.
good.
It's
I don't have
the
the accent.
accent. It's difficult to do that, like
Yeah.
with the accent. I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to giggle. I just can't.
It's so full on.
Oh, there's so many elements going on in that bloody voice. Oh my days. Go,
Just start,
Ashton,
Ashton.
go.
Find your way there.
Yeah.
Have a cookie or two, 'cause you worth it. Have a cookie or two, 'cause you worth it.
I love that as you came into higher pitch, like the gruffness just went, whoa, it just
I
disappeared.
can't do the gruff and then do the cookie. I can't do those two things. I can't marry them.
That's, what's the sentence? Maybe have a cookie or two because you're worth it. Fuck, all right.
Start, Tessa.
Maybe have a cookie or two because you're worth it. I don't know what the fuck that was.
I think you went up on or. Maybe
Yeah.
have a cookie or two. But it's like cookie or two.
Oh, is it cookie?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe have a cookie or two because you're worth it.
You sound like you're doing a Maybelline ad, but like.
I know, that's what it sounds-
It's all I've got in my brain. Is, maybe it's Maybelline. Like that I could do. That's no
You're
problem.
worth it.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Full face coverage. I honestly couldn't get Maybelline out my head. Oh, God.
Oh, Cookie Monster's hard.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
Jordan,
also,
are you
they're
gonna have a go?
typically mailed by voices. They're voiced by male, because
Yeah.
anatomically that works. Jordan, what do you got?
Yeah, that's that kind of throat hurting stuff that we've done before. Like when you're getting into that. Well, for me, I find I get into that. You guys are like, go like this, and I'm like, I want to cough.
Yeah, yeah.
straight away.
It takes
okay.
effort to.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's not,
Okay.
right? Like that's at the vocal fold level. Like,
Yeah.
that's
That
like,
hurts though.
Yours
That's pressure
sounds
and that
like
hurts.
velopharyngeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cookie Monster.
Mm.
Have a cookie or two. Have a cookie or two.
right? Like
You're
it's,
cute. Listen to you. Oh my days. I loved every second of that.
so it's not happening here. It's
Yeah.
not compression. It's not squashing. It's not squeezing. It's vibration. Right? So see if you
Yeah,
can
okay,
find,
all right.
And open your mouth up a little bit more. Open your jaw.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, a little bit more.
I'm ready.
go.
Who's ringing?
Not
Who's
me.
ringing?
Not me.
No?
Yeah, it's me. I'm ringing. I'm pretty sure that's the first time this has happened. And it's some guy from Google Ads. So annoying. He didn't approach me and ask if now was a good time. It is not. No, I'm trying to be a Cookie Monster. Piss off.
Hello.
I should have. You want a cookie or two, mate?
Want a cookie?
Oh, okay. Let's try this. Anyway, all right. Maybe have a cookie or two. Yeah.
It's a little bit Yoda.
Yeah.
Just
Sure.
getting Yoda vibes then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting. I would like to know if this person is using, like you said, Deanna, if they're using more like pharyngeal kind of stuff going on, back of the throat, the velum, or if it's false fold articulation. Because I don't know.
Like heavy metal stuff.
Yeah, it could be either. Because I can't hear the distinction between those two things. I wonder.
Well, I don't know how to do vocal folds, so I like
Neither do
false
I.
vocal folds. I don't even know
it's
how to do that.
But then I get stuck in that spot and I can't do. There's
can't
no
articulate.
specificity. Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
going on there.
Is this the original? Is this the original voice actor for this?
Who
or-
knows? I can imagine loads of people have done
That's-
Cookie Monster.
That's what I'm trying to look
okay.
up right now because
Okay.
actually on Sesame Street, usually a person has done these characters for like years and years. They don't switch
okay.
out very often.
Right.
So I'm looking it up.
It could be an
and I
impersonator though, like,
find
it could be anybody.
Yeah.
David Rudman
Ooh.
is the voice of Cookie Monster and also the puppeteer. And has been for a long time. I'm thinking. Hold on, I'm trying to.
Is
look
it
and
still
see.
going, Sesame Street? I thought it was called Elmo. How bad am I? That's terrible.
The show is Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Elmo
I
is a
screwed that
character
up. The
on
red
Sesame.
dude, eh?
Yeah, the red dude. Yeah.
But Elmo has his own
disgusting.
show, I think. I think
Yeah.
there is an Elmo show.
Okay,
so
I'll take that.
Elmo's
Thanks,
World.
Deanna.
It's called
You saved
Elmo's
me.
World.
yeah.
I used to. I had a thing called a Tickle Me Elmo when I was a kid,
Me too.
which was
Tickle me almost the
Yeah,
best.
I had one of those too.
It's a
Yeah.
phenomenon.
I loved it. My mum we used to go to the warehouse. Jordan, you'll know what that is. We used to go to the warehouse, and Mum would like send me down to the toy section while she was getting other things, and I'd play with one of the Tickle Me Elmos, and then I got it for my birthday like a year later because that's just what it was. Oh my days! It was so exciting. It was so
Hey,
exciting.
can I play
Yes.
you guys something? Because
Yes.
this is David what's his face actually
David Redman. Yes.
doing the Cookie Monster. Can I share that?
One moment, I will allow you to. Now you should be able to.
Okay. All right. Okay, have a listen to this. And I think this guy sounds a little different to the one that we just listened to, but I don't know for sure.
Have you got your sharing for sound on?
I can
Yeah.
hear it, but it's not very loud.
No.
Oh, okay, hang on. Let me just make sure that the volume's all the way up. Let me try again.
Still quiet.
Can't hear it?
No.
That's weird. Okay.
Well,
all right.
also, so on here also it said originally the Cookie Monster, like back in the 70s, was performed by Frank Oz, which is like a famous puppeteer guy. But today it's David Rudman. So we got to this one looks like it may be Frank Oz. So there's really only been like two Cookie Monster voices.
Well, it says
but-
Cookie Monster.
yeah.
David Rudman finds out the number of the day is 0. So this is David Rudman.
Okay.
Crazy.
Go.
Oh, well, David
I'll stop
Rudman, if
sharing.
you're out there, let us know how you're doing, what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry that didn't play very nicely, but everyone can go and have a bit of a Google and have a listen anyway. But I thought that because I could hear it better, right? So to me, it sounded more gravelly, right? The one that we just listened to had quite a bit of like kind of clarity in the high notes.
Yeah.
I thought like that when he went cookie like that. Woo, was like really clear. There was a lot of clarity in that. That one sounded like it was a bit more cookie. Cookie Monster is doing the thing. It
was more monstery.
pitched.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kept the like kind of part in it. Whereas
Yeah.
the one that we mimicked went cookie. Like there was like a real clarity at the top
Yeah.
of the high
It's like they
pitch.
could extend the range past a certain point.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, well, I think we've got a medium on that. We've got components of the Cookie Monster going on. I wouldn't say I could do it.
I feel like I was pretty close.
I thought you were the closest there, Deanna. I thought you did really well on that.
You're like a Cookie Monster's like Australian cousin.
Yeah.
You know what I
I like the Australian cousin of Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
I love that.
mean? Like they come, like Cookie Monster's Australian cousin, like comes to visit Sesame Street, and they have a good time eating cookies. Yeah, exactly. I could see it happening.
Just don't do that too close to your mic, eh?
That did sound like Yoda there, didn't it?
It says me.
Oh, my days. All right, team, I'm going to cut it there.
Sick. Love it. Love
It
it.
is. I think this has been a marvelous episode. I think a key takeaway is that if you're on social media and you're using it for your business, team, it's a slow burn.
Yes.
Give yourself time to figure out what your rhythm is and what you want to be doing, and be intentional about what you're posting, and just stick with it. It's hard to put yourself in a community where it's already flooded with everybody else who's already doing stuff. So just take your time and enjoy.
And be yourself. That's why being yourself is so important, right? Because there are a bazillion other people out there doing the same kind of thing as you, and the only point of difference you have is you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the most important.
And put your phones on silent when you're creating content.
Everything is content.
Everything is content. You know that's going to be a clip, Jordan, right? The phone. Whose phone? Oh, it's mine.
It's me, team. I did it.
Yeah.
Well, that has been it today from the Good Talkers podcast. I hope you have enjoyed our social media chat. If you have questions about how you post on social media and how you're doing it for your business, feel free to send them through. We would love to hear from you. If you've got any sounds that you can make that we can't make and y'all want to challenge us, go for it. We would love a challenge. You can always reach out to us on all of our socials because we are on all of them. Or you can email us at thegoodtalkerspodcast@gmail.com, and you can hit us up through the website too. So say goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
Goodbye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Have to be different, don't you, Jordan? Jeez.